graph f of x, and we have a rational expression when we have a binomial over a binomial. And I need to be able to graph it. Now, one of the first things that you want to make sure that you do, you want to be able to factor the numerator and denominator so you can simplify it. On the numerator, I can factor out a 5, and what's left behind will be x, and 5 multiplied by positive 2. On the denominator, we have the difference of two squares, so we can factor as x minus 2, x plus 2. So if you notice, we can simplify by canceling the x plus 2. Therefore, we are going to be graphing the simplified version, f of x equal to 5 over x minus 2. We need to be able to find our vertical asymptote. Now, since the denominator has the biggest exponent, in this case we have x to the first power, our theorem tells me that the horizontal asymptote will be y equal to 0. So therefore, horizontal asymptote will be on the x-axis. The equation is y equal to 0. Our vertical asymptote is determined by your denominator. Your denominator cannot be 0, so therefore what value of for x will give you 0 when x is equal to positive 2. So therefore we're going to have an asymptote at 2. And now I just want to be able to plug in different values for x. I'm going to plug in values to the right. I'm going to plug in this is a 2, I'm going to plug in a 3 and a 4. So I'm going to make a table of values. And in this case, you can use a calculator, x and y. I'm going to plug in values for x. I'm going to plug in a 3 and then a 4. Now if I plug in a 3, this will be 3 minus 2 is 1. 5 divided by 1 gives me 5. So 3 and 2, 4, 5. If I plug in a 4, 4 minus 2 is 2. 5 divided by 2 will be 2.5. 4 will be 2.5. And I can continue plugging values to be able to see how the graph behaves. I can plug in a 5. That'll be 5 minus 2 will be 3, so it'll be 5/3. So it'll be 1 and 2/3, or 1.4, 1.7. So in this case will be 1. And I can plug in a 6 and continue by, remember that your graph will look something like this. On this side, there's an asymptote. And now I'm plugging a 1. So I'm going to go over to the other side to see where the graph is located. Plug in a 1. That'll be 1 minus 2 is negative 1. 5 divided by negative 1 is negative 5. 2, 4, 5. Plug in a 0. That'll be 5 over negative 2. And you guys will see a pattern. And if you plug in a negative 1, we'll give you 5 over negative 3, which is negative 1 and 2/3, or negative 0.7. And there's my graph on this side. Now be sure to write down your equation for your asymptotes, your horizontal asymptote and your vertical asymptote.